Everything that you need to do a quality paint job is contained in this kit. 3 heads, H1, H3, and H5. H1 for thin, H3 for medium, and H5 for wide angle shots and better coverage. I prefer the H5 to use as a head for the model cars. Obtain this through a hobby shop, or you can go to an art supply store. They are available online. Relative cost anywhere between $55 to $70. This I would recommend for the car modeler. Military, I would suggest, along with model railroading, a dual action. You have much more control of this. This is a perfect airbrush for a starter for anybody. Glass jars. On the left, a 1 ounce jar. On the right, a 2 ounce jar. Relatively inexpensive at $1.45 for the jar on the left, $2.05 for the jar on the right. These jars cannot be used more than 5 or 6 times without a thorough cleaning. They are not as polished on the inside as they are on the outside. If you notice, I kept this jar for this reason, to show you what it does. It picks up the residue of the paint. If you notice, the jar has a light green tinge to it. This means that the paint is already impregnated into the uneven surface. My advice, after 4 or 5 paint jobs, throw them away. You can boil them. I'm not guaranteeing what the results will be. This is the single most important piece of equipment, safety-wise, that you need in your shop. Today's paints, the urethanes, some of the lacquers, some of the enamels, are toxic. You cannot paint without it. Now granted, I shot the video. I did not wear one, but if I had been wearing one, you wouldn't have been able to understand a single word that I said. Do not forego this, especially if you're shooting with a young child, teaching them how to use an airbrush. This is a must. Medical examination gloves, available through any pharmacy or well-supplied grocery store. Essential to keep the skin clear and clean of paint and solvents. Great protectant, it's a must. We have masking tape, garden variety. This is a must. It's got 1,000,001 uses for your modeling in your shop. You can use it to tape off. You can use it as I have used it in the video, but you can't go wrong. It has to be right where you need it, right at your right hand. You're going to use this more than you would ever begin to believe. Local hardware store carries it all the time. Gee, I wonder how often I use these. Check out the array of colors on them. These are 1/2-inch pipe nipples. I use these for stands to hold the cars and hold the parts that I want to paint separately. Piece of masking tape on it backwards, wrap the other tape around it. Check out the later on in the video. It's right there. You can see how I do it. What I like about this the most, it's a great holding tool while you're airbrushing. You can go from angle to angle, side to side, top to bottom. The car sticks to the top with the tape. Nice part of it is also, you can take these, set them right inside your metal cabinet. Not a plastic one, not a wooden one. It'll stay upright. They're heavy enough to hold the car up. Professional polishing kit from LMG. Essential for you to produce crystal clear, I can see myself or shave in the shine on your model car. The kit contains sandpaper from 1800 all the way up to 12,000. Follow the directions and you'll have a mirror-like shine every time. Word of caution, rub lightly, wet sand with cold water. The novice polishing system. A needed follow-up to your LMG kit. You have number 3, number 2, number 1. 3 is for heavy scratch removal, 2 is for fine, and 1 is your final polish, which is mostly silicone. The 3 is not really necessary if you use your polishing kit correctly. In the center, you have the model car wax, which is called the treatment. This adds and fills in any tiny, tiny little marks. It'll protect your paint job, and also it'll give it an unbelievable shine. Well worth the money and a definite necessity. Use this with a small, fine piece of t-shirt, and you will get a shine that you will not believe. Wet dry sandpaper. A must, a necessity in any modeler's shop. This is available through any well-stocked hardware store or auto parts store. I have 320, 400, 600, and 1500. At any given time, I've got at least 5 or 6 sheets of each. This is essential in preparing your kit. Start with the 320 on heavy removal or 400, 600. You'll be the judge, you'll learn, but you have to walk your way up. Now, on top of that, once I've got the 1500 down to where I want it, you can also continue on using the wet dry paper, the rubber back paper that comes in an LMG kit. Remember, the smoother the surface, the better the paint goes on.
A toothbrush. Don't laugh. A very handy tool. This one is made by Colgate. It is a soft bristled brush. It's excellent for use in cleaning out crevices. If you've dipped a body in brake fluid and you want to clean it up, or if you just want to scrub your body for pre-paint purposes, you can't beat it. Rather inexpensive, available just about anywhere. Metalizer finish from Testors. I use this as a primer. Use it as an excellent protectant for the plastic. It also goes on whisper thin, and it's literally a coat of metal. Also can be used to plate parts with, a little polishing up with a piece of t-shirt, and it buffs out to a nice aluminum-like shine, and it looks like the real deal when it's put on plastic. Testors enamels, probably the finest enamel product on the market. Comes in a wide array of color, lending to solids, pearls, and metallics. And when applied properly and then covered with the clear, it provides an unmatched depth of color, brilliance, and shine. This is the best on the market, bar none.
Sunnyside lacquer thinner. This lacquer thinner is what I would refer to as lukewarm. Warm enough to thin the enamel very nicely, flow smoothly, and causes it to dry evenly and in a rapid fashion. Tops 2 to 3 days drying time completely. You do not want to use an expensive, high heat lacquer thinner that dries rapidly. You'll turn the model car into a puddle of plastic.
Here we have my don't leave home without it ever. As you can see, I've managed to make this into a portable unit. I don't go anywhere airbrushing without taking this along. What you're looking at is 3 inline filters. A little bit of an overkill according to some, but you can never ever take a chance on this. You have 2 moisture traps and an oil trap, along with a regulator and a gauge to let you know exactly what your pressure is set at. Now, the reason being, the trap will catch any moisture or oil going through, and it will not transfer through your airbrush onto the paint, causing fish eyes. Now, what we're about to look at is exactly what happens when you mistakenly don't run through the air filter and run through a direct source of air, and the end result is what you're about to see. I don't care how long you've been doing this. Everybody goofs. I've been doing it for 46 years. I'm not ashamed to say that I still goof.